Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's up, you all out there in video land? How y'all doing? This is Knowledge by Nikki Smith with 1K. And I am coming to you all this morning with my mind in like crazy motion. I mean, my mind is running right now. Like, something got to happen like immediately. Let me give you some tidbits on what brought me to do this message. I would call myself a finisher. Let me explain what that means. I have this thing, and I've been this way since I was a child, and I'm going somewhere with this, so y'all stay with me because I want to help you. I have been a person that I think, we all have these pet peeves, and even as a child, the one thing that I did not understand and did not do well with, as far as it would send me to the moon, or as they say, get on my reserve nerve, is when people didn't finish stuff. I believe if you take on a project, if you obligate yourself or someone hires you, whatever your task is, you should finish it. It should be to the point where when you're asked to do something, or when you yourself set out to do something, you should finish it. Even if you decide you don't want to do it anymore, you should leave. Everything you touch, everything you start should be finished. Let me give you some simple examples that drive me to the moon. And for those of you all that can relate to what I'm talking about, when you find yourself going bananas over little stuff, that really means there's something bigger going on. So I got home. I've been out of town for about a week. And I got home, and the man that cuts my grass, who I love him, his name is Martin, and I love him. He's Hispanic. And I don't understand, and I pay him whatever he says. I don't care. He cleans the gutters. Whatever you say is what I pay you. So carte blanche, handle everything that needs to be handled. I don't understand when I come home and the grass is cut. It hasn't been fertilized, and I done left the fertilizer out there. The bushes need to be trimmed. You cut the grass, though. He kills that. But he doesn't finish the project. Because to me, part of cutting the grass is also making sure the hedges are trimmed. Also making sure all the little weeds are pulled up. Y'all get what I'm saying? So I'm going bananas, right? And I love this man. He been cutting grass for me for years. And I'm going bananas. I'm calling him up going ballistic. Like, why didn't you finish it? If I gotta come behind you and say, what about the weeds, or what about the hedges, and you've been doing this for years, now I'm bothered, okay? Then my husband, who, God bless him, because he sure makes sure the bottom doesn't fall out on me. When I think you're supposed to take out the garbage, I think that means all the garbage, every garbage in the house. Put a bag back in the can after you take out the garbage. So if I come in and just the garbage is taken out, but the garbage still in the bathroom, or I get ready to throw something away and I got to put a bag in there first, I'm going bananas, right? Because I don't understand. And then this leads me to the incompetence aspect. It is not that these people are incompetent, but it leads me to why don't we finish stuff? Why don't we say, you know what, if I started this, I don't care what it requires, how long it requires. I don't care if I decide after I finish, I don't even want to do this no more. We have become a generation of people who don't finish anything. We don't complete the task. I want you to ask yourself, how many tasks have you started? How many books have you read and you didn't finish them? How many times have you started a project and somewhere in the middle you just bailed out on it, and for no real good reason, just because you lost your fire, because you emotionally maybe started it and now you pooped out because it was an emotional high. It wasn't something you really wanted to do. How many of us have done that? And I'm talking to my people who own something and have to delegate duties, and I don't care whether you're a salon owner, if you real estate company, this is for everybody who's self-employed, and you have to tell your assistant, if you're a stylist and you have to tell your assistant she's a shampoo girl, but why do I have to tell you to also clean up the sink, as if that's not part of the task that you do it? This is my thought process, guys. And so yesterday I had all these little things that had happened to me all week, and they were petty, but they were sending me to the moon, guys. I was like straight up ready to flip tables about this stuff. And then I said, because I'm very self-aware, I said, okay, hold on, Nick. What's really going on? This is what I say to myself when I find myself tripping about stuff that ain't even that deep. I'm like, yes, I do want him to finish it still now, but the level of me being pissed definitely didn't match the task that I was tripping over. So I sat back and I said, God, I'm tripping, and I need to know what this is really about. So let me tell you how God will give you what you need in the strangest formats, when he really is trying and you sincerely are seeking, help me figure out what is really going on with me. And this is what happened, guys. And it has stuck with me all day. I sent this to a couple people, this message I got. So I read a lot, and when I find myself tripping, and I call it when life is noisy, and I'm like, what is really going on? I read. That is my default mechanism. I read it. You all got to create a default too, that when you find yourself tripping or going through stuff, you got to create a productive default that your mind automatically goes into and your body follows, so that at least when you get on the other side or you figure out what this really is, you haven't caused yourself more harm. So let me tell you what happened. I go into reading. So I had just got back off the plane yesterday from a week trip, and I'm tired as ever. I should have carried my butt home, but I'm in this mode and I'm tripping, y'all. So I decided to make a 2-hour drive to a destination that I've been needing to do anyway. And I said I needed that drive. The car is my think tank. So I needed that drive to clear my head and really try to process what's going on with me, because I am straight tripping over stuff, because I'm tired of having to come behind people and finish stuff that they didn't do, right? So this is what God gave to me. I am in the process, and this will be the maybe 5th or 6th time I'm reading the book Leader Shift. It's the 5th or 6th time that I'm reading this book, right? Because it's by John Maxwell. It's his new book. The book is so phenomenal. It's very difficult to read it all at one time. You got to read a piece, take it in, process it, read a piece more, take it in, process it. So I actually have completed the whole book, but I needed to go back because I know I'm in this shift and I'm tripping about stuff that the level that I'm tripping is not justifiable to what's happening, even though I do want them to do better. And then my assistant at the salon, I got to tell y'all this before I tell y'all what this book gave me. My assistant at the salon, who I absolutely love, but she was acting totally incompetent about what I thought was a simple task. So I find myself, and I try to regulate when I'm screaming at grown folks because they're not children, but I don't understand what she didn't understand. So I'm literally japping out, which I could tell she was retreating back because I'm going bananas over what is it that you don't understand. I didn't explain this 15 different ways. So I knew it was time for me to push pause. So, okay, I'm driving and I'm reading this book, and I went back to chapter 8. And I can't remember the title of chapter 8. But guys, let me tell you something that chapter 8 was about. That John C. Maxwell, if y'all don't ever get nothing from me, I need y'all to get this. He talked about, as we start to grow and as we start to expand, we clearly have to get people to assist us in what we're doing. It's impossible to do it all by yourself. And I actually have great people that work for me and that are around me, even though they don't finish stuff that I need them to finish. But this is what it said. I need y'all to write this down, or somebody put this on the screen. He said in his mind, his definition of disappointment is the gap between expectations and reality. I'm going to say that again. He said what disappointment is, because that's how I feel when people don't finish stuff. That I'm disappointed and I'm tired and I feel like they're being incompetent. And this goes to everything we do, not just work. He said disappointment is the gap. It is that space between expectations and reality. And he went on to explain what that meant. If you, me, anybody does not give people that we align ourselves with, whether we're in relationships personally or professionally, clear expectations on what we need from them, what happens is when the reality of what they're thinking or how they do what they do starts to happen, we japping out because we never really told them what we expect, and we just want them to know it. We just expect that they should know that if you do this, that this should happen. Or if I ask you to do that, you should automatically do this. And I listened to this chapter, guys. I promise y'all, it's a 2-hour ride. I listened to this chapter, I know, 5 times in this 2-hour ride. Just a part of the chapter. And he went on to explain that what starts to happen as we're hiring employees, as we're getting into marriages. He broke that thing down. He said when you marry, you cannot just expect your spouse to just know what you want. If you ain't broke that thing down, and as he said, as simple as it sounds and as petty as it sounds, you have to be step 1, I need this. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't care how many bullet points you got. You have to get people to know what you need, and you have to ask them, do they understand what you expect? However you need to say it. If that person alludes that they are not up to meeting those expectations, do you know how much time, energy, money, aggravation we could potentially save ourselves? So I'm sitting here as I'm listening to this, and I'm realizing that my standards are extremely high. My expectations, I don't expect anybody to do any more or less than what I would do. So here I am expecting people to do and think and move and act and respond and critically think the way I would, but I never even bothered to give them that or tell them this is what I expect, nor did I ever see if they were actually fit to be able to handle that level of expectations. So here I am pissed, and I didn't do my job. I didn't give clear direction, definition to what it is that I need. So this is what I learned from this, guys. When you have expectations, I don't care what it is. If it's in your kids, if it's in your spouse, if it's in your employees, whatever it is, he put it this way. You don't just go in director mode and start directing the people, telling them I need you to do this, that, and the other. No. That's not the approach. What needs to happen now is everything you expect needs to come in the form of a question. Oh my God, this changed my whole attitude. So in other words, if I expect you, I'm going to use a very simple circumstance. If I expect you to take out the garbage, I'll just use that. That's a really simple thing. What I first need to ask you before I tell you what I expect, what does taking out the garbage constitute to you? What does that mean to you? What does taking out the garbage consist of in your mind? And what'll happen is you'll learn that their idea of something so simple is not the way you think. So if I ask you that and you say, hey, grabbing the bag and taking it out and putting it in the trash, now I can say, okay, is that it? You allow people to tell you how they already process this information. If they say that's it, then this is what I'll say. Well, no. What I expect and what I see as taking out the garbage is going in every room in the house and getting the garbage. Taking out the garbage, yes, that is part of it. putting it in the can outside, making sure the bag is tied up, as well as putting the garbage bag back in the can so the next person cannot have to do that. This is what I now understand is where I've went wrong. I've went wrong because I haven't asked the right questions and I haven't been crystal clear after I've assessed the answers to make sure that we are on the same page. I had to tell one of my coachees yesterday, she's in my reflections group, she wants to hire someone. This was after I had heard this, and mind you, I heard it before, but it's something about when you're in different frames of mind, how the same information that you heard 5 times will all of a sudden stand out like a sore thumb. And I told her when she wanted to hire this person, I said, this is what you got to do. Don't go in telling them anything. We are going to get a list of questions based off of what you already know about them. We are going to ask them questions worded in a way that we now know we can get the exact answers and how they naturally process information. When they naturally process it, now I can see how you already think. Basically, I call this working backwards. Instead of me telling you, I want to already see what you know, how you think, how you see this task, whatever it is. And now if I need to fill in anything, now I can tell you what I need in addition to. Guys, I did this last night. I sat down. I thought about every single relationship. I'm in partnerships. I got all kind of relationships going on. I thought about every single one of them, and I took the time to write down, what about this relationship am I not satisfied with? What about it? I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I said, okay, these are the things I don't like. And I transferred those things. I put a line in the middle. I can't stand when they do this, all these things. I went to the other side and I said, how can I ask them in the form of a question what their idea of this is? So this is what I did. I literally on one side had everything that drives me bananas. On next to it, I said, okay, I'm going to sit down with them. I didn't care who it was. And I'm going to ask them, how do they see that thing? What is it that they think they should or shouldn't do? Or just what the questions were all different. And I'm going to ask them so I can get a clear expectation, me, on what they are planning on doing or not doing. That is where now the communication will set in. And after they give me the clear diagram or blueprint on how they want to approach certain things, I now know what to expect from them. And then I now can tell them what I expect from them, or what they should expect, or what they should expect from me, should I say. And I now know what to tell them I expect from them. This will start to bridge that gap that we are constantly having between expectations and what really happens. What really happens is more often than not what we expected. So I need you to ask yourself, with every single person, if you're an owner and you feel like you got the most incompetent staff of life, I need you to ask yourself, have you asked the right questions? Have you given them clear expectations on what is required to work here? Do they fit? They may end up telling you, well, I'm not going to be able to do that. That's not going to work for me. At this point, now we can make decisions without falling out, without japping out on each other, without screaming like I have done unnecessarily at people. Because if I had have done that due diligence, I would have known what to expect from them. They would have known what to expect from me. And I would not have these, I call them my meltdown moments, where I'm like, is the whole world stupid? My lawn guy, I never told him that I wanted him to cut the grass and do the hedges and do the, you know what happened? One day, he just felt like doing it, and he did it. And so now I'm expecting that he's going to do it all the time. but he ain't never said that. So what I now have to do and say to him or ask him, what does keeping this is what I actually put for him. Because he's Hispanic, right? So y'all know I got to play charades because I don't speak no English or no Spanish. So now I have to ask him, what does keeping up with my yard mean? Or do you consider keeping up the yard just cutting grass? Or what is, how do you see that? He'll be there Thursday. My next conversation is, what comes with you taking care of my yard? That's all I got to say. If he says cutting the grass, cutting the hedges, putting fertilizer down, he cleans out my gutters. If he says all of that and it fits the expectation of what I think it should be, then what I'm going to say to him is, okay, since that's what you think it is, I expect that to be done every time it's needed. And I don't expect to have to tell you. So I should not have to come home and not see what you've acknowledged is what you should be doing as part of your job. You've already said it, and now I'm going to make you accountable for it. I promise, after we had that conversation Thursday, I probably will never come home with my hedges not cut, with my fertilizer not put down, with the weeds not pulled, but we haven't had that conversation yet. If you got employees and you never told them what's expected, take out your own garbage, wipe the or ask them, okay, if you find you having issues, they don't clean up behind themselves. Ask them, let's put it in the form of a question. Ask them, what does cleaning your station mean to you? You tell me what your idea of cleaning your station is. And let them tell you, taking out my garbage, wiping down my chair. Let them tell you what they think that is. If they miss something, then once you allow them to finish their conversation, you could say, okay, all of that is absolutely correct. But in addition to that, in order to be here and for us to keep this place clean, I'm going to also expect you to do this, to do that, to wipe the base down, to whatever it is. Guys, when God knew I needed what I heard yesterday. Because have you ever been in a position where you're ready to fire everybody? I was ready to fire everybody. I was ready to give me a new grass guy. I can't get a new husband because he got to stay. I was ready to give me a new grass guy. I was ready. I was ready to say I'm so sick of people not finishing stuff, and I got enough work, and I got to come behind them, and I got to finish it, and I got to do this. Why couldn't you just do it? And I realized it's me. It's not them. It's me. Now, I ain't saying people aren't incompetent, but what I am saying is once you have that expectation conversation, you now can make them accountable for what they said. You said that cleaning the station was this, and that. So now I'm expecting you to do it. So now you got to help me understand why you ain't doing it. Now you got a reason to jump out. Because they said, they acknowledged that they knew exactly what their job was. You said, cool, we got this. We should have to have this conversation no more. My disappointment came, and it still is things I gotta fix. Because there's this huge gap, as John Maxwell says, between expectations and reality. That's what disappointment is. So if you're not getting what you need, if you are not getting people to perform in the way you need them to perform, if you are not getting what you need from a company or a service or beyond people, it's because you have not asked the right questions like I didn't, and you have not laid out clear expectations on what needs to happen after you already have assessed what do they think it is. What do you think this is? I find, and this is the way John Maxwell explains it in chapter 8 in the book Leadership. Y'all gotta read it. I have read it, but and I'll probably read it again. I was actually listening to the audio when I was driving, and I had the book in the car too. I now understand what I need to do. I wrote out, I did the paper. Now I have to line it up. And when they talk about making assumptions, Those assumptions come from when we expect people just to know what it is that we want from them or that we expect from them, and they don't just know. If you don't take a computer, you cannot expect a computer to perform and to come up with things that you never actually put in there. And then even a computer, we will put things in a computer. I'm in the process now having to buy another computer because it doesn't have enough memory. Guess what the question I should have asked was, based off of what I'm doing, I knew what I was going to be doing. I should have asked when I bought it. This is asking the customer service person at Apple where I got this computer. I need to do videos, graphics, this, that, and the other. Can I expect this 128 gig memory computer to handle that? He would have told me no that day. I'm expecting a computer to perform in a way that it wasn't designed to do. It is not designed to handle all of what I do. And had I put that out there in the beginning, I wouldn't have to go back now and trade up, buy another computer, spend some more money now to get something that requires more memory. So guess what's going to happen now? I go into Apple and I say, look, I need to do this, that, and that. I'm not even telling you what I need. And I need this to last me for a little while in case I triple the amount of this that I'm presently doing. And I also am not spending over X amount of dollars. Can you tell me what computer in here can meet my expectations so that I can realistically get what I need out of this computer? Now I'm not disappointed because he's going to say, okay, ma'am, you say your cap is $2,500. Okay, this computer over here for $2,500, it allows this. Matter of fact, you may want this extra app, this extra software. Are y'all with me? Now I can buy something and have realistic expectations about its performance. I am no longer like, this dude sold me something that don't work. This is how could he if I did not convey what I need? And more than that, I had to ask the right questions. I'm telling y'all, remember that. I actually am about to go in an office, so I'm going to have to get off here in a minute. What time is it? Oh, I got a few minutes. I now understand why I am not getting I'm getting 80% performance out of the people that I now employ. They ain't all the way out of there, and I know the whole 80-20 rule. I get that. But in this particular situation, I can't take on 20% of everybody's job. That's not going to work for me. I can't let 20% be undone and just be like, forget it, I'm going to do it. And I'm over that stage of, they ain't going to do it like me. No, I'm over that. No, I need it to get done. I need to walk into, when I come back from vacation, I need to look at my yard and say, he did everything. I shouldn't be like, let me go see if my hedge cutters are working because he didn't cut the trees. But if I don't convey that to him, I assumed he knew because he did it one time on his own. Maybe he just felt like it that day. But that doesn't mean that he thought it was the job he's supposed to do every single day or every single week or every other week or however I have him doing it. So just remember this. Disappointment, and this is John C. Maxwell's quote, it is not mine. Disappointment only comes when there is a huge gap between expectation and reality. That is when we make the assumption that they know all this stuff in the middle. Now, if you have told them and you have asked the right questions and you all have done this, now you got a reason to fire them. If you have to, now you got a reason to say we got to do something different or this is not going to work. Now you have a reason to say that or to jump out if that's what it requires. But until then, until you do that, for all of you all that call me all the time, and the first thing you say is, I am not getting what I need. I'm tired of this one, that one. I'm not getting what I want. You are going to have to take some time, push pause, write it down in all these areas of my life, personally and professionally. What is it that I need? that means you're going to have to spend some time really figuring out what is it that you need, what is it that you are actually expecting, and you can't just say whatever. No, you have to be specific. From your employees, from your kids, from your spouse, from your whoever. I don't care what relationship you're in. If those things aren't clear, you got to own that. That maybe I didn't make myself clear. Maybe I want you to even approach it as maybe I didn't tell you what I needed. Maybe I wasn't clear. Or maybe I didn't really understand what you thought. Maybe we need to go back to this beginning, and as Roseanne Barr said way back when the old Roseanne show was on, she said we need to renegotiate the terms of this relationship. We need to renegotiate that. We need to renegotiate so both of us have clear expectations on what is going to be required in order for this to sustain, in order for us to stay in connection personally or professionally. Because if we do not, guys, we are going to continually be disappointed. I see some of you all, I coach many of you all. Again, you all already know, if you, or maybe some of you all don't. Again, see, there I go assuming. So I'm going to ask the question. How many of you all need a coach? How many of you all need help? If you need help, instead of me assuming that you just know that I coach, see, there I go again. I want you all to hit me up on knowledgebynikki.com if you don't already know that I can provide services that may help you if you are in this gap. If you are in this gap and you're not fully understanding how to get the best out of both people or both sides, personally and professionally, with what you need to grow your life, you can go on my website, knowledgebynikki with 1K.com. You can push consultation button. It'll send you a schedule. You can set up to have conversations with me. I promise you, I will ask more questions than I actually give answers, because it's the only way I'm going to be able to help you. And I also will ask you this. I have learned this. What is it that you expect from me? What is it that you need from me? Where can I assist you? If you cannot give me that answer in some way, shape, or form, it is going to be impossible for me to help you. And I'm learning, and I've done this before, but I realize now after hearing that how imperative this is. So when I ask you that now, and you tell me I don't know, what's going to happen is I'm going to tell you, in order for me to help you and give you clear expectations on what it is that I can do or how I can serve you, I cannot do that, whether it's this conversation or the next one. I cannot do that until you give me a clear picture. So you figure that out, and then we'll reconnect. That means that conversation's over. I can't help you until you first figure out what you need. And I'm also going to ask you what is of most importance. A good friend of mine that owns a retail company used to say, Nikki, everything can be important, but everything can't be urgent. We can have a lot of important stuff. You know, we want to do this, that, the other, but everything can't be urgent. So I'm going to also ask you, out of the list of all these important things, which one is the most urgent? If you cannot tell me that, I'm not anymore jumping into relationships without me having clear expectations and me giving you clear expectations. So until you can articulate that, you're going to struggle. You're going to have a time. Now me, I don't have a problem with articulating it. So I had no excuse other than I just made the assumption that people think like me, move like me, and that is never the case. That never happens, guys. So if you want to stop being disappointed, you're going to have to ask the right questions. At that point, you're going to have to then add in whatever needs to be added in that you expect. And you're going to have to make sure if this person is the right one for the task, for the job, for the journey, whatever it is that you're doing. And I guarantee you, we will live our absolute best life. And then we won't have to jump out so much. All right? Y'all get that? That has resonated with me all day. I got to go in this office. It is 8:55. And so I have to go now. I needed to share that with you all because I know doing this is going to shift everything that I do, that I need. It's going to help me align people with what I need from them. Meaning I'm going to look for certain qualities and then I'm going to ask the right questions. And once we have that conversation, all minds clear. You'll know what I'm going to do. I'll know what you're going to do. And we can live happily ever after. Deuces. You all share this. I know there's not a soul in this world. Hit share. Share it to your groups. Share it to everything. Go on my website, knowledgebynikki.com. I got some good stuff on there. Great conferences, Salon Owner Strategies Conference. You can register right online, payments, the whole nine. I got my Money Does Matter Conference in San Juan, Puerto Rico next year. I got my Color Me Crazy Business Edition. Whatever it is that you need. And you will now see me starting my classes with the same thing. What did you all come here expecting? Tell me what you expected. Because I actually even do my smaller classes, like at shows. I had started doing that because what I want to let people know, even in the beginning, and this is at shows where people can walk in and out. I like to let people know in the beginning. Ask what they expect. Tell them what this class is. So if this is not what you sat down here for, please leave now. Ain't no need of you sitting here. You ain't got to disrupt my class in the middle. Go ahead, leave now. This ain't what you thought it was. And I'm good with that. Now I know I got people sitting here that are in expectation of what I'm about to deliver. And now we have a happy, happy, good time, and that's it. So I got to go, y'all. Because y'all know I'll be talking forever. Knowledge by Nikki, 1K, I'm out.